Ole Miss is hosting special events to increase awareness about disabilities on campus.
Coming up, Denver Haggard will tell us more about what's to take place.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Terrence Johnson.
And I'm Jayla Whitfield.
The month of April is Autism Awareness Month.
Lauren Conley found out why the Communication Sciences and Disorders Department is making sure Ole Miss students are informed about autism.
These kids from Hill Preschool are having a ball on a walk with students with the Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders. They're taking part in the Lighted Up Blue event for Autism Awareness Month. Gina Keene, a speech-language pathologist for the preschool, says that some children are being diagnosed as early as 18 months old.
We tend to begin to notice it when a child should be developing language. And that's usually one of the very first signs that maybe something isn't going the way that we anticipated.
Ole Miss graduate student Alex Russell says more people need to know about autism.
Autism awareness is really important because it affects 1 in 68 children. And just in the community of Oxford, we have like 23,000 as our population. So that should speak volumes to everyone that this is a serious thing and that action should be done about it.
Keene says parents can do plenty to help their children.
Some things we do know that help them out are early, getting involved early, helping them shape their behavior, we call it behavior modification, working on social communication, and giving them ways to communicate.
To support Autism Awareness Month, be sure to wear blue, and for more information, be sure to go to www.autismspeaks.org. I'm Lauren Conley for NewsWatch Ole Miss.
If you'd like to know more about Autism Awareness Month, we posted a link to autismspeaks.org on our Facebook page. This past Friday, the new Associated Student Body Executive Officers were officially sworn into office in front of the Lyceum. Elam Miller will serve as President, Walker Abel as Vice President, Katie Cooper as Secretary, Jonathan Cox as Treasurer, Catherine Sistrunk as Attorney General, and Alex Crouch as the Judicial Chair. The official term for the officers begins this fall of 2018. Ole Miss student Dustin McGee has been charged with kidnapping and raping another student. The survivor provided OPD with McGee's name. Oxford Police Department tweeted McGee's mugshot last week, stating that the incident happened last Tuesday. According to the mother of the victim, the survivor and McGee were leaving a party together, and McGee offered the student a ride home. Instead of taking the survivor to campus, the Uber took the passenger home, where he told the survivor to wait for another Uber. In that time, McGee beat, bit, and raped the student before passing out, giving the survivor time to escape. McGee's bail is set at $20,000.
The top names of the magazine industry will be at Ole Miss for the 2018 Act 8 Experience Conference. The conference is hosted by the Magazine Innovation Center at the Meek School of Journalism and New Media. This year's conference theme is Print Proud and Digital Smart. The conference provides an opportunity for students to connect with professionals from around the world and could even help students land a job. The conference is scheduled from tomorrow through Friday in the Overby Center Auditorium and is free to the public. There is a new organization coming to campus. The group will focus on serving students whose parents are or have been incarcerated. 2018 Ole Miss Most Beautiful Asia Branch has created a new group called Serving Children of Incarcerated Parents. Branch is the daughter of an incarcerated father and believes she did not have the tools to guide her through the difficult times. Serving Children of Incarcerated Parents aims to break the cycle of children with incarcerated parents also becoming incarcerated. The new service group will hold its first meeting tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. in Guyton Hall.
The Local Voice Daily Dispatch is kicking off a series of events this week. Today, there will be food and drink specials throughout Oxford, as well as entertainment. Trivia night will be at the Blind Pig beginning at 8:30 with a $5 fee to play. Off Square Books' Jennifer Polari will be performing Dear Madam President, an open letter to the women who will run the world, and Rick Outson with City of Grudges. That event begins tonight at 5 p.m. David Blackburn, CEO of the Blackburn Group, has been honored by the Mississippi Business Journal as one of the top CEOs in Mississippi. The 2018 CEO Awards of Mississippi were announced recently at the Old Capitol Inn in Jackson. The Blackburn Group has multiple affiliates in construction, residential development, and property management and fitness holdings. Blackburn has served as CEO since the group's founding in 2006.
Teachers in Mississippi work hard with very little recognition, but each year Mississippi honors a Teacher and School Administrator of the Year. This year, Whitney Drury, a teacher for 15 years, is being honored as the Teacher of the Year. Drury teaches students with disabilities at Lafayette Elementary School. The principal of Quitman High School, Howard Savage Jr., is also being honored for Administrator of the Year. They each will receive a $5,000 award. Not only is April Autism Awareness Month, but it is also recognized as Disability Awareness Month. NewsWatch reporter Denver Haggard is in the studio to tell you more. Denver?
Thank you, Jayla. Yes, this month is Disability Awareness and History Month here at Ole Miss. Earlier today, I spoke with the Office of Disability Services to see what this month of awareness will bring. The Ole Miss Office of Disability Services is preparing for Disability and History Month here at Ole Miss. Among the many staff members preparing is the Access Services Coordinator and Interpreter, Corey Blunt.
The purpose of having it is to draw attention to disability, and the way that our office approaches it is through a social justice lens. We look at disability as a social justice issue where a disability isn't necessarily placed on an individual by a diagnosis. Want to take advantage of these services and advocate for the office is Ole Miss student Timber Hurd.
Very friendly. They're very understanding. They don't judge. They're just very kind people.
The office has many events planned for the month, including a student panel later this week on Thursday.
We want to increase awareness and advocacy for people with disabilities. So, for instance, tomorrow we're having an interactive lunch and learn to talk about what accessibility is and what that means and what inclusion means, and to look at some of the physical components of campus and of the community to identify accessible features and inaccessible features.
This committee has many events planned all throughout the month. So if you would like to get involved or find out more, you may contact the Office of Disability or visit their website at sds.olemiss.edu. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Denver. Saturday night, a tornado ripped through parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. The tornado touched down in Meridian, Mississippi with winds of 115 miles per hour, causing some damage. The storm resulted in power outages and trees falling. It was reported that in Meridian, several trees fell on homes in the George Reese Court apartments. Reports say that at least one person was injured in the storm.
Coming up, hear what former FBI director has to say to the public about his experiences with President Trump.
We will have that and more next, but first, Cameron Sidley has your first look at the current conditions.
Hey Rebels, happy Monday. As we take a look at our current weather headlines, you can see we are going to see some warmer temperatures this week, and along with that, we are going to see some high winds, and we will see some thunderstorms this weekend. As we take a look at our current radar image, you can see pretty clear over Oxford right now. We've seen a pretty sunny day, but coming up on Stormwatch, I'll tell you exactly what to expect for the rest of the week.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I know, I
was.
heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Yes, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
The White House echoing President Trump's new rant against James Comey, accusing the fired FBI director of being a leaker and a liar. For his part, Comey is now offering a blistering on-camera account of his exchanges with the president, going beyond what he reveals in his new tell-all book.
Oust FBI Director James Comey assailing President Donald Trump's leadership style as he describes a newly elected world leader more preoccupied with the salacious allegations against him than a hostile foreign government meddling in America's election. When President-elect Trump was briefed by intelligence chiefs on Russia's election interference in January of 2017, Comey says that this was Trump's top concern.
President-elect Trump's first question was to confirm that it had no impact on the election. And then the conversation, to my surprise, moved into a PR conversation. No one, to my recollection, asked, so what's coming next from the Russians? How might we stop it?
Comey's comments come as he kicks off a TV blitz to promote his new book, A Higher Loyalty, which casts President Trump as an unethical narcissist who runs the White House like a mafia boss. President unleashing on the FBI director he fired in May of 2017, tweeting, "James Comey is a proven leaker and liar. He leaked classified information for which he should be prosecuted. He lied to Congress under oath. He is a weak and untruthful slimeball who was, as time has proven, a terrible director of the FBI." Trump adding, "It was my great honor to fire James Comey." By Comey's telling, Trump couldn't get over the unsubstantiated claims in the now infamous dossier, namely that he invited Russian prostitutes to his Moscow suite and watched them pee on one another.
The printer of Comey's book is printing over 800,000 copies to meet consumer demand. To put that number into perspective, Michael Wolff's book Fire and Fury printed just 150,000 copies. Comey's book comes out next week. This past week, President Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, started his federal trial today. Cohen told a federal court that he held at least 10 clients between 2017 and 2018. Cohen's clients include the president and former GOP fundraiser Elliot Brody, who acknowledged paying $1.6 million to a Playboy model with whom he had an affair. Cohen's lawyers publicly identified President Trump and Brody as clients. The judge ordered Cohen to reveal his other clients. Of them is Sean Hannity. Hannity says that he and Cohen only had brief discussions about legal questions where Hannity wanted input and perspective. Stormy Daniels went to court this morning for a hearing over the client list of President Trump's lawyers, Michael Cohen. Daniels arrived with her lawyer, Michael Avenatti. Daniels is suing Michael Cohen for defamation and claimed the non-disclosure agreement she signed is invalid because President Trump never signed it. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley announced yesterday that the Trump administration would release new sanctions against Russia today. But President Trump did not give the final approval for the sanctions to be rolled out today. Haley told Fox News Sunday that Russia was already feeling the effects of the previous placed sanctions.
What we're doing is we're letting Russia know this is not something that we want to be a part of. It's not something we're going to tolerate, and they've got to make a decision. Right now, they don't have very good friends, and right now the friends that they do have are causing them harm.
Russia is an ally of Syria, and the new sanctions would specifically target companies that make chemical weapons or do business with Syria's President Bashar al-Assad. According to the Washington Post article, President Trump is not yet comfortable executing the new sanctions.
The United States launched 105 missiles in Syria Friday. The missiles successfully hit all 3 targets. In result, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad will have a very difficult time making more chemical weapons. Syria launched 40 missiles following the United States missile launch. However, Syria's missiles launch were ineffective. Saturday, President Trump thanked United States allies for joining. At 92 years old, former First Lady Barbara Bush's health is in failing condition. Barbara Bush has refused to seek any additional medical attention and is focusing on comfort care. Bush is suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and congestive heart failure. Former President George H.W. Bush is with her, and her family has been visiting her for the past week. Bush's life has been dedicated to the cause of literacy since she left the White House. The Starbucks CEO is apologizing after 2 black men were arrested at a Philadelphia store last week. The 2 men who were asked to leave for not being paid customers have agreed to meet with the CEO, Kevin Johnson.
Where did they get called for? Because there are 2 black guys sitting here meeting me?
This man arrived at a Philadelphia Starbucks store Thursday to find that the friends he was supposed to meet, 2 black men, were being arrested.
Well, what did they do?
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing.
Philadelphia police said Starbucks employees told them that the 2 men did not buy anything and asked to use the bathroom, which they do not allow non-paying customers to access. The men said they were there waiting for their friend. Employees told them to leave. When the men did not, employees called the police. Today, Starbucks announced the store manager is no longer working there.
She's a racist bigot. I'm sorry. I'm calling her that.
Protesters entered the store this morning calling for her termination.
What do we want? Liberation! When do we want that? Now!
But the Starbucks CEO said the blame is on him.
These 2 gentlemen did not deserve what happened, and we are accountable. I am accountable.
The Philadelphia Police Commissioner stands by what happened, but he added today the officers did not really want to make the arrest.
Just the mere fact that 3 different warnings to leave suggests that there wasn't a rush to judgment. I mean, the officers were in there for about 15 minutes, before an arrest was made. So that should just suggest that clearly that wasn't their first course of action that they were thinking of.
After transporting the men to a local precinct, the officers were told Starbucks was no longer interested in prosecuting, so the 2 men were released from custody.
Asked Starbucks for their company-wide policy when it comes to people in their stores who don't buy anything. Starbucks has not yet replied.
It's the middle of April, but that spring weather, I just haven't felt it. Will this continue throughout the rest of the week, though?
I hope not, but I sure hope not, Terrence. But Cameron Silly will let you know in her extended forecast coming up next on Stormwatch.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Hey Rebels, happy Monday. As we take a look at our current temperatures, you can see we're at a pretty cool 55 degrees. Clear outside, pretty sunny with winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour and
0% chance of rain, so overall it was a pretty nice spring day outside. As we take a look at our current satellite image, you can see pretty clear over Oxford right now. Like I said, we had a really nice day out today, no clouds, so hopefully we'll continue that through the week. As we take a look at our current temperatures, you can see we have South Haven, Oxford, and Corinth all at 55, Holly Springs at 54, and Tupelo the warmest right now at 57. And as we look at tomorrow's temperatures, you can see it'll warm up quite a bit to mid to high 70s. We have South Haven and Holly Springs at 75, and Oxford, Corinth, and Tupelo all at 77. As we take a look at tonight's temperatures, it's going to drop down quite a bit to 41 degrees. It'll be clear with some light winds, but it will be pretty chilly outside. As we take a look at tomorrow's temperatures, like I said, it will warm up quite a bit. We'll be at 77 degrees, clear outside with some slight winds coming in at 10 to 15 miles per hour, but overall we're looking at a very nice spring day tomorrow. As we take a look at our 5-day forecast, you can see we have Wednesday at 74, Thursday at 66, Friday at 67, Saturday at 73, and Sunday with some rain at 66. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Cameron. The Ole Miss baseball team took to Vanderbilt this past weekend, but were they able to take the pivotal SEC series?
And one woman broke history at the Boston Marathon. See what she did next.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
On Sports Watch, I'm Tori Reese. Starting you off with a familiar face who's been given the cold shoulder in the SEC. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey has encouraged Alabama, among other schools in the SEC, not to hire a former Rebel head coach, Hugh Freeze. Freeze was expected to take over as Alabama's co-offensive coordinator. However, Sankey pointed to Freeze's personal shortcomings that led to his resignation as to why he couldn't get the job. Legally, the SEC can't stop Freeze from getting a job in the SEC. However, schools are required to give Sankey reasons as to why they will hire a particular head coach. Their message was simple: Freeze, you're welcome to coach, but do it outside of our conference. If Freeze does get hired, he will have to serve a 2-game conference suspension due to sanctions in December. Moving to the Diamond, the red-hot Ole Miss baseball team was cooled down by both the weather and the Commodores this weekend. After taking Game 1 on Friday, the Rebels had to play a doubleheader yesterday due to weather delays on Saturday. It came out short in back-to-back games by a score of 8-7 both times. In the first game, the Rebs rallied in the late innings, down 3 runs to take a 6-5 lead, only to give it up in the extra innings. The second game, they led a 7-5 lead, turned into an 8-7 defeat. The number 4 Rebels will eagerly return from an 8-game stretch from home to take on Arkansas State at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday at Swayze. Someone who didn't let the weather affect them from taking history was Desiree Linden, who became the first American woman to win the Boston Marathon since 1985. In icy rain and windy conditions, the two-time Olympian pulled away at the end of Heartbreak Hill to win with a time of 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 54 seconds. And when I say pull away, the next runner behind her finished 4 minutes later. This was the 5th anniversary since the Boston bombings, and over 30,000 runners participated in the 26.2-mile trek. As they say in hockey, do that hockey. The Nashville Predators will try to do just that as they head into Denver with a 2-0 lead, looking to put the series out of reach with a dub. Coming into the game, Smashville has some trends going their way as the Preds have outscored the Avalanche 10-6 in the first 2 games. Colorado has also lost 3 consecutive playoff series after trailing 2-0. Although the altitude will probably come into play, it hasn't affected the Preds as they've won 5 straight games at the Pepsi Center. That game will be on NBCSN at 9 p.m. Central tonight. That's all I have for sports, but be sure to follow our Twitter at NewsWatch_UM for more of your favorite sports updates. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Tori. It's National Pecan Day, and we have the perfect cobbler recipe just for you.
We sure do. The Good Life with Grant is next with a special on how you should be celebrating.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Happy Monday and welcome to this week's edition of The Good Life. It's National Pecan Day, so I've got an incredibly easy recipe for the perfect pecan cobbler. It's only 8 ingredients and this cobbler can be made and baked in under 35 minutes. We're going to start by preheating the oven to 350 degrees, then place 6 tablespoons of butter in your 9x13 or cast iron skillet. Then place your pan into the preheated oven and let the butter melt. Now guys, this is a southern recipe, so for goodness sake, don't try and mess with the butter. Once your butter is melted and you've added 1 cup of pecans, you're going to set that aside. In a large mixing bowl, combine 1.5 cups of self-rising flour, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 2/3 a cup of milk, and a tablespoon of vanilla. Now just mix this until combined, but don't overmix this. Then pour that mixture over the melted butter and pecans, but don't stir. Next, add 1.5 cups of brown sugar on top of that batter, and then finally pour 1.5 cups of hot water over everything. Now guys, I know this is going to look extremely weird, but science works magic, and these layers become a velvety pillow of cobbler and a delicious sauce. Now if you're a pecan lover like me, I'm going to top this with some butter pecan ice cream and enjoy a strong cup of coffee with some butter pecan creamer. Well, that's all the time I have for you guys today, but if you make this cobbler or any other decadent dessert for National Pecan Day, be sure to tag us in your photos on Facebook and Instagram at NewsWatch Ole Miss, and don't forget to hashtag The Good Life with Grant. Until next time, guys, I'll be living the good life.
You know, I love me a good piece of pecan cobbler.
Well, Jolly, I've actually never had it, but it seems like Grant is showing us, a good treat that we could possibly have out in the Grove if weather permits, with some friends.
Yeah, so it looks like the weather's going to be nice this week. We'll be mid to high 60s, so, we'll see that sunshine a little bit at least.
Good. That makes us happy for that pecan cobbler, I guess.
Sounds good to me.
That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Terrence Johnson.
Be sure to catch us here again on air at 5 and on our Facebook live stream. You can also find our show on hottytoddy.com. I'm Jayla Whitfield. Thank you and good night.